Hello, and welcome back to episode 5 of the How to Make a 2D Minecraft style game in C Sharp. In the last episode, we created this world class, a player class, and we moved the player into the world, made a list of blocks, and we showed the blocks on the screen. So now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make it so that the player can do collisions with the world so that you can walk on top of the blocks. Because as we can see here, if we press the play button, your character just falls straight through. Does not walk on the blocks yet. Alright. So the way that we're going to do this, we need the entity to have access to the world. So, we're going to do public world inside of the entity. And we're also going to make a constructor in the entity that says public entity, and we're going to put in here, just like we had the double delta, we're going to put a world. And then we're going to type in here this dot world equals world. Now all of the entities have access to your world. And up here, there's a red line in the player. That player class is red, so we're going to go hover a mouse over to here, quick fix, generate constructor, and we're going to move the world to here, and we're going to put world into here for both of these entities. So now, the next thing we need to go into the world, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to make functions for getting these blocks, or more specifically, what we're going to do is we're going to have functions for getting the blocks, and we're going to have functions for setting the blocks, and we're going to have functions for detecting collision. Alright, so at the very bottom here, what we can do, we can make a public color get block. And the color is going to take an int x and an int y. And it's going to, if x is greater than -1, and then we're going to do on the 7 key, we're going to press shift and the 7 twice like that. That's going to create these two. This is called an and. And y is greater than -1. And x is less than world size. And y is less than world size. And we can type in return blocks x, y. And then down here, return color sky blue. So that's saying if x is greater than -1, and y is greater than -1, and x is less than the world size, and y is less than the world size, and those two arrows right there, you press shift and the little two arrows there on the bottom of your keyboard next to the M, will return the blocks. Then we can copy this and paste it. Let's move this. And we're going to rename this set block and change this color to a void and put a color here. Remove this at the end. Remove this. We'll do blocks xy equals color. And that's how you have a function for getting a block and setting a block, right? And to test that out, what we can actually do, we can do a rectangle, but I'm also going to copy this, and we're going to make a rectangle F. And call it rectangle 2. Actually, no. Control Z all the way back. We're just going to do this. Raylib.mouse position. Oh, that. We're going to make a var m equals raylib get mouse position, put a semicolon at the end. And we're going to do if m.x is greater or equal to block x and m.y greater or equal block y and m.x is less than block x plus block width and m.y is less than block x plus block height. If raylib dot mouse, we'll do if mouse button pressed and left set block x y color dot sky blue, and we'll do an else and set block x, well, or actually, sorry, not an else. Sorry, it is if raylib is mouse button press mouse button right set block x y color dot red. And now let's press this play button. Go full screen and watch this. It didn't work. Let me see something. It's still printing out the M. Let's do X. Let's test out. I'm going to do a console right line for X and Y. Let's see which blocks it's selecting. Yep, it is selecting blocks. MX, MY, MX less block X plus block width, MY less block, oh, less than block Y plus block height. Right here. Now let's press the play button. Still not working. Let's change that to mouse button down, actually. There we go. Mouse button down works. Mouse button pressed did not work. That is also another debugging thing. But if you look at this now, we can place blocks. All right, and that is the first step to getting collisions. So now we can do, let's make another one. Public bool is block solid. Int x, int y. And we will return get block x, y, and we'll do on the 1, shift, this is a not equals. And that's on the number 1, that's the exclamation point right there. And does not equal color.sky blue. Let's see. Cannot be applied. Well, then we will do a dot equals color.sky blue equals false. Like that. And then we can do a public bool is collision at rectangle rect. Alright, so now we can do this. We're going to do this is going to be a little tricky. We're going to do a public, or sorry, not public, int start x equals rect dot x times constants dot block size. Sorry, actually it is divided by constants block size. And we have to cast this from float to int. We're also going to do something here, math f dot floor. That's going to be really important. That will prevent a couple of bugs from happening later on. We're going to select this, Control-C, Control-V, we'll do start y, rect.y, and then Control-C, Control-V, I'm going to change this to end x, end y, and let's select this, put your parentheses here, and we'll do rect x plus rect dot width. We're gonna copy this, select this, paste rect y plus rect height, and then we are going to change from floor to ceiling. Now, we're going to do this for loop here, but instead we're going to do from start x to end x. So we're going to do for int x equals start x, x less than end x, x equals x plus 1. The curly brackets, for int y equals start y, y is less than end y, y equals y plus 1. Boom. Now, at the end of here, we're going to do a return false. And we're going to do a if is block solid xy. That's why we had this here. And now, you see this block x, block y with height, we're going to copy this. And we're going to paste this in here. We're actually going to turn, let's do, we're actually going to turn this, click right before here and type in system dot drawing dot rectangle f. Then select that, copy that, paste that here, double click here, paste that there, and then we're going to do if rectangle dot intersects with rect, return true. And that is your isCollisionAt function. So now, what we can do, we can add collision to the entities. You see how we have this position y plus size y is less than raylib get render height? We're going to modify that. Basically, we've got your character here. And we've got the blocks here. We're going to test to see if there's a collision at a small little piece here on the bottom of the player. And if there is, then he's on the ground. So, we're going to do a system.drawing.rectangle f bottom equals, and we're just going to put new. And what you will do, let's do a cast to a float position dot x, and another cast to a float position dot y, plus a cast to a float size dot y, plus 2. Then another cast of a float with size.x and 2. And then we can get rid of this if world.isCollisionAt bottom equals false. Let's press play. Now we've got a little bit of a problem. He's going all the way down to the bottom here. So the way that we fix that is we remove position y equals raylib dot get render height minus size y. We remove that part. And now, your little character here stops right there on the ground. But something you will notice is that he does not stop when he hits the side of the walls here. So we're going to fix that. Just like we did that little part on the bottom there with the x and y plus 2. We're going to copy that. We're going to make one for the top. Let's change plus size y like that. Get rid of that. And we're going to get rid of this here at the top. And let's copy this, paste it. I'm going to make one for the left. This is going to be a -2 and a float size y at the end, and change this float size x to a 2. Copy that, paste this, change this to right, and we're going to do position x plus float cast size x. Now, we will do if world is collision at left and motion.x is less than 0, motion.x equals 0. Let's copy this, paste that. If there's a collision at right and motion x is greater than 0, motion x equals 0. And if there's a collision at top and motion y is less than 0, motion y equals 0. And now, when you walk into these blocks here, he stops. So if you want to, you can build a little, like, parkour kind of course here. You can jump around like that. You can break things. And we've already sort of got a little 2D Minecraft style thing here. Right? But let's quickly go and change all these 2s to a 1, actually. And then we're going to change the size. 75. Make it a little bit shorter. There we go. Oh, and something else that you might notice. Now that we've changed this to a 1, we've got a little bit of a problem where he's not... sometimes he'll get stuck on the ground if you're walking around like this. Right? So what we can do... motion x equals 0.01 times delta. Negative 0.01 times delta. 0 times delta. Negative 0.01 times delta. Let's check that out. And now, let's see, that might be a little bit too slow, actually. Let's remove the extra 0 here. Now, when you're walking around in the world, it should be a little bit harder for your character to get stuck. Because as you can see, if he gets stuck like this, in just a moment, he will actually move up and won't get stuck again. But let's make that happen a little bit faster. Let's change that to a 1. Alright, maybe we don't want that. Maybe 0.5. And we are actually going to bring back the 2 here, because the 2 there does stop it from getting stuck a bit. So you will get stuck occasionally, but it's not going to happen all the time. In the next video, we actually will work on fixing that. But for right now, that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.